right now.
Mac Jones is going to be the riser in this draft.
The Jets and Zach Wilson is a marriage that I think makes all sorts of sense beginning in 2021.
Whenever that chime, he just like, when I hear that NFL draft chime, you're like, something big's about to happen.
It's time to go, man. It's time to get up and get your suit ready and start buttoning, putting it together. When you hear that chime.
2 weeks from tonight.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I get it.
We all can't be first overall.
But you played in the league, so it doesn't really matter.
I hear it and I cry because I know I ain't getting called.
So what? Okay, so let me ask you this before we move on. Did you play in the National Football League?
I did.
Did others that get drafted before you have lesser careers in the National Football League than you?
Trizzle.
Okay, so let's move on.
Well, think about it. Southern Cal, Southern Illinois, your climb, right? Your story is a great story.
Yeah, it's like he's the glitz and glamour. He's Mr. Hollywood.
And stop.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't send
I'm
that
I'm Rocky Balboa.
You still were able to wear the logo.
That is true. That is true.
Okay, you still have one of the most famous quotes of all of postseason.
But I'm just saying.
Can't wait.
I'm just saying we just show the dynamics. You know what I mean? The extreme, like the different paths. Right? You're at one spectrum. I'm at another. You came in. You had the glitz and glam, but you had the expectations. Yeah, I had no expectations. Nobody expected anything from me. That's what I love about that week, what it represents. It's the guys that don't get drafted, the London Fletchers of the world. Guys that that are built, not born. You know what I mean?
But the league is not made up of first-round picks anyway. I mean, the league is made up of guys like yourself or London Fletcher, Tom Brady's mid-round guys. That's what the league is made up of. Everybody thinks that the league is made up of all first-round picks, and that's not true. Not true at all. I mean, when you look at teams – and you go down the roster, you look at the 11 on each side of the ball, how many of those dudes are actually starting for those teams that were drafted in the first and the second round? It's like few. And the ones that do start are almost like forced to because of where they were drafted.
Yeah. Indeed. It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. You heard Mike Greenberg say just moments ago, Mac Jones is the riser in this draft. Just a matter of when will Greeny call his name when he hosts the draft? When will they talk about it? Third? Somewhere else? Lou Riddick on Get Up with Greeny earlier this week. There's been a lot of talk about Mac Jones and rising, a lot of talk about Mac Jones being a system guy. Everybody's got an opinion. Lou weighing in with the opinion of the folks that matter the most. And listen to this.
Some very, very, very smart quarterback tutors and former offensive coordinators who coached at a very high level in the NFL have told me they believe Mac Jones is the best quarterback in this draft. Not just one that needs to be in the mix or that deserves to be in the mix outside of Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence, but they believe as though ultimately he's the best quarterback.
Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. Key, doubled down. The Miami Herald reporting in February that when teams were running through the Senior Bowl, they talked to Devonta Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner, who's been around, caught passes from a couple different Alabama quarterbacks, if not more, and they simply said to him, one team, as the Miami Herald reports, would you rather catch a ball from Tua or Mac Jones? And he said almost immediately, definitively, no question about it, Mac Jones. Where is all of this coming from? You are certainly not on this train.
Yeah, just because he says that he'd rather catch passes from Mac Jones versus Tua doesn't mean that he thinks Mac Jones is the better quarterback. It could have something to do with the rotation of the football from a left-hand quarterback, from a right-hand quarterback. Like, I hate left-hand quarterbacks. I've never had one in a game, only in practice, and I hate it. Was the worst thing ever. So you just don't know where his mindset is coming from when he says that. So I don't want to get on this he doesn't like Tua versus Mac type situation. I'm not when I look at Mac Jones, he's been very productive in the years the time that he's played at Alabama. But I also am smart enough to know that Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, systems very similar in how they think and process information from an offensive standpoint to deliver it and take advantage of defenses. Whether it's getting guys in open space, where I know as an offensive player and a football player that's not a route. That's deceit. That a guy comes in motion, he goes across the formation, he comes back across the formation, the defender gets caught in the wash, the guy runs up the sideline wide open, Mac Jones delivers a football, and everybody goes, wow, what a great throw. That's not an NFL throw. That's deceit. I've watched it throughout the years. I go back to USC when we had all the great quarterbacks these guys coached. They didn't coach Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer was not coached by those guys. Norm Chow was the offensive coordinator and Paul Hackett, believe it or not, was the guys that got Carson Palmer ready for the NFL. They coached the likes of Matt Barkley's and Matt Leinert's and John David Booty's and Mark Sanchez's. They had their hands in all of that. Those guys were ultra successful in college football, statistically. They look like, okay. Then they go to Alabama, and you look at some of the quarterbacks that they've had at Alabama and the numbers that they put up and the receivers running wide open and doing some things. Will it transfer to the National Football League is the key.
Question. That's the question.
It's not about running wide open and delivering the football. I need you to be able to throw a bang eight in rhythm, a skinny post in rhythm. Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin. Inside, outside edge of the numbers, hit the back foot, let it rip. Can Mac Jones do those things? I know people, he's smart. All quarterbacks are smart, man. All of them. Because if they wasn't smart, they wouldn't be playing the position.
Processing and all that.
They would not be playing the position. So when you look at it, can he throw the 18-yard dig on 3rd and 15 where a guy can catch it in front of him and get the extra 3 yards? Can he do that? Can he do contested throws when you have a defender on the outside and he's able to just slightly put the ball where only his guy can catch it? Those are NFL throws. And I understand what Louis Riddick is saying. The quarterback gurus of the world see this and they say he's the best guy. San Francisco didn't go up to get him at 3. I'm just being honest with you. They didn't go up to get him at 3.
I mean, listen, I want to know if he can perform in a dirty pocket, right? Because there's a lot of clean pockets when you're on the best football team in all the land. I was talking, we had, on my show, we had Ryan Clark, and we're just talking about just how good is Mac Jones. Well, he wasn't good enough to beat out Jalen Hurts. He wasn't good enough to beat out Tua Tagovailoa. So really, when you talk about how those guys are transferred to the NFL, they haven't let the league on fire. You're going to move up and take this dude 3rd overall, and you look at when they say, when I'm listening to Louis, his interview and what in his statement, he says former OCs. That means those are guys that got fired. So Mac Jones is just good enough to get you fired too if you are wrong. So especially if you're San Francisco and you move up to get him 3rd overall.
Move up to get him, man.
Somebody's gonna fall for the banana and tailpipe. And it's ironic to me. You talk about Mac Jones going to be the big riser. It seems like whoever's going to be the riser is whoever plays in the Senior Bowl, right? You play in the Senior Bowl, you get to meet somebody and be personable. You get to be whoever you're supposed to be for that week. And what happens? The chatter starts. Oh man, he's a lot better than we thought. Right? Well, that you can lie to people. Like in this league, like you can lie to people for a long time. And then you get exposed, right? You get exposed for who you really are. But the Senior Bowl is a perfect way for you to lie to the league when you're around people, they see you practice. All you got to do is have a couple good practices, right? You're playing against guys that never played defense with each other. They're learning a new system, and you're able to play at a high level. You can lie. So it's ironic to me that the big risers of all in recent draft history has been people who participate in the Senior Bowl.
Look, when I look at Mac Jones, to me, he's a glorified, and I may be wrong.
Greg McElroy?
I may be, no A.J.
McCarron.
McCarron. I think A.J. McCarron was a fine college quarterback. One of the all-time great quarterbacks in college football.
Couple rings, yeah.
Couple rings, numbers, throwing the ball all over the lot, just looked great. Had an opportunity to maybe go from Cincinnati to Cleveland, although the fax machine didn't work or something like that, so it screwed his opportunity up. But big, tall, gravy boot type guy that can't get out of his own way. In the National Football League nowadays, there's still room for that guy. But if you look around the landscape at these quarterbacks that are starters, outside terrific Tom, everybody can move, man.